Welcome back, everyone. Welcome to episode 37 of the Sports Desk. I'm your host, Splash. And as you guys can notice, there's no Stefan, there's no Jack. Jack is busy. Stefan is running a little late. But Jack is about to be here because we do have a clip. Jack and I recorded some stuff last night. It's a little bit of a Monday Night Football review. So before I throw that up, make sure you like the stream, subscribe to the channel, smash that notification bell, ring that Le'Veon bell. Baltimore hasn't rung the Le'Veon bell yet, but ring that notification bell. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at UStadium, and make sure you drop a super chat or super sticker. We appreciate any and all donations. Much love. Javi, the Cardinals are a winner in my book. That's all that matters. We're going to get into the Cardinals. I have some spicy stuff about the Cardinals, but enjoy the show. Live Splash. We'll be back very soon. Welcome. This is Splash from the past and also Jack from the past. I would try to point at Jack, but I'm not confident that I'm going to get it on the first try. So with that said, we are recording this Monday night at 8:29 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time or Mountain Standard Time, whatever you like to butter your toast with. I guess you only butter your toast with butter, but that's beside the point. How's it going, Jack?
It's going well. We just wrapped up week 2. NFL's been fun this year. NFL's really been fun. It's only week 2, and it really feels like it's back now, and we're having fun with the games. All the primetime games so far have been excellent. Most of them, at least.
Well, one was a heartbreaker. The other one was a heartbreaker for Kansas City. And then Washington, the Redacteds had a good game with New York. And I think both Thursday night games have been pretty fun. Sunday night games have been kind of fun. I didn't watch a whole lot of Rams Bears, but that was more on my stream not working than a lack of interest at the game because I did want to see how Stafford played. So speaking of, Monday Night Football just ended. The Packers pounded the Lions. They didn't allow any points in the second half. Jared Goff turned into Jared Goof. I'm sure you've seen that before, Jack.
Plenty of times.
Yeah. So give me your immediate reaction there.
My immediate reaction is I thought the Lions as a whole got better from this game. I think that they definitely performed a whole lot better without having to make some kind of miracle comeback like they did. They were leading at the half, by the way, too. So against Green Bay, that's not easy.
Ooh, were they leading at half? I thought
they were leading by a field goal at half.
I thought Green Bay had scored right. Wait,
Detroit was leading by a field goal at half.
I think you're right. It was either 17-14 or 21-17. I don't remember.
It was 17-14.
Okay, so
anyway,
the Aarons put on a show.
They did. They're going to be scary. I think that now that they're back in form, I think one of the big things to take away is that Packers fans, as usual, are being told to relax once again, which is fair because everybody knows they're fine. They're not going to get blown out 38-3 every single game, every single week. They are okay, and they showed it today. Granted, it was against the Lions, but still. I think Green Bay definitely proved a lot this week. The Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Jones connection is still hot.
I think there's some things you can take away from it, even when you are playing a bad team like Detroit. Like, I'm going to do a power rankings episode in a little bit, and Detroit's near the bottom. But you just kind of watch how they play rather than do they win, because just judging wins and losses can give you a goofy representation of how the whole football thing is played. Exactly. And I like to think of it more as, yes, the Packers won, but look at how they won. Look at how Aaron Rodgers played. He looked dialed in. He missed a couple deep shots, but I was watching the Peyton and Eli broadcast. But Peyton said, it's either your ball, it's our ball, or no one's ball. And Rodgers, his misses were like that. It's either Adams or MVS or whomever he's targeting catches it, or it hits the ground. And there's nothing wrong with it hitting the ground. He had one ball, one absolute beauty of a ball, like 40 yards downfield, put it in the bucket to Devontae Adams.
That was beautiful.
Aaron Rodgers still got it. Like I dropped him in my quarterback power rankings last week, but he's still Aaron Rodgers. There is nothing wrong with Aaron Rodgers. Just one bad game. He has them from time to time. That's
everybody does.
The bad game is not the norm. Besides Deshaun Watson at this point, but And that's not even a Deshaun Watson joke. He was awesome last year and didn't have a bad game. But anyways, any other takeaways from Monday night?
I think we pretty much covered it all. I think, I was watching the regular Monday night broadcast. They were talking about how Dan Campbell doesn't want this year to be a rebuild year. It's a rebuild year.
A retool? Yeah.
Retool, I guess, whatever, rebuild. Yeah. It's a rebuild in Detroit.
It's a rebuild year.
I understand.
It's a bad Lions team.
I understand that you want more out of Jared Goff, probably, but probably not going to get it.
Let me backtrack on that. The Ravens do play the Lions this week.
Oh,
Baltimore,
boy.
For the love of Christ, please beat Detroit, man. Just please beat Detroit. Just please.
I think
we should.
If you can beat Kansas City, you should be able to beat Detroit.
I think that's a pretty natural segue.
But we lost to the Jets last year, so we're gonna just leave it at that.
I don't know. That's a pretty natural segue. Anything you want to touch on with Ravens Chiefs?
Oh, that was a banger. That
game was on straight meth. Not even crack. Not even just straight meth.
I loved the play call at the end. By the way, I love how there's so much trust now. That just shows you all the trust that they have between Harbaugh and Lamar Jackson. I think the fact that he was screaming at him, do you want to go for this? And Lamar's like, hell, like they're dialed in. They're dialed in.
Yeah, and I think that's even. I'm pretty sure. Well, actually, I don't know. He definitely was thinking about going for it anyways. I don't actually know if Lamar's decision swayed him at all. But then again, Harbaugh is probably thinking Lamar's going to say yes to this, obviously, because Lamar is the ultimate competitor, and he's not going to 4th and 1 game on the line. He wants the ball in his hands. He doesn't want to hand it off to Tyson. He doesn't want to give it to Sam Cook and have him get muffed or pull a Rams.
Pretty much.
We may not be live, but I can still crack jokes.
Indeed. His competitive spirit was definitely on display.
Oh, go ahead. I had the smoothest transition of all time.
Go for it.
You said indeed. So speaking of indie.
Flash. This is going to look great tomorrow.
Yes, it is. I have to record 3 more shows after that. Anyways, tell me about Rams clots. Rams win by 3, but how do they win by 3?
I mean, it's a very, very heart-wrenching game. I'll say it was a roller coaster. It was. I think the key thing that we were shown in this one is that Matt Stafford is indeed human. He looked like he was immortal last week. This week he throws a pick. It's not his fault. The ball gets tipped, but he still throws the pick. Yep. The Colts are a better team than most people realize. Like I don't know what my prediction was. I think it was a little bit more one-sided than it should have been because they are not going to roll over and die like the Bears did. They are going to stay in the game. Carson Wentz played a hell of a game. He played a hell of a game.
And then Jacob Eason was the Jacob Eason fan club is losing
the Jacob
some
Eason
momentum.
fan club. I felt so like, oh no, I have to root against Jacob Eason now.
Yeah, he was the PFF's lowest graded quarterback. I don't know where Goff and Rodgers are going to come in, but I would have to, or I guess Jordan Love took snaps today. I don't know where they're going to come in, but as of recording, our boy Jacob Eason was sitting at the bottom of those rankings, and he's going to be my quarterback rankings very soon. May or may not be at the bottom.
Pretty much the way it plays out was the Goff and not the Goff and I was about to say Goff and Stafford. Jeez, it's late. The Stafford Cup connection was on fire. Was en fuego.
That was beautiful. That was beautiful.
Beautiful. Robert Woods, Van Jefferson made a little bit of made a couple uncharacteristic drops. It's fine. It happens. Everyone has bad games. They still had some catches too, so that's all well and good.
For sure.
You would just like to see them do a little bit more. Sony Michelle got his first real look at him because Darrell Henderson unfortunately got hurt. We don't know what his status is for week 3. But Sony Michelle looks solid. The one thing that frustrated me there were 2 plays that frustrated me. The first one was when the Colts took the lead because that was the weirdest touchdown ever. Yeah. Nick Scott, every time I hear his name, it's because of something bad. I don't like that.
Long snappers hate it like that. Hate it.
He wasn't the long snapper either. It was somebody else was the long snapper. Nick Scott ended up between Johnny Hecker and the long snapper somehow.
Oh, okay. He was the personal punter protector,
something like protector.
That, like the Tim Tebow role on the 2012 Jets.
But bottom line, the ball hits him, never gets to Hecker. Colts recover in the end zone. That's a touchdown. They take the lead.
One of the dumbest touchdowns I've ever seen.
It is ridiculous. I was just, I couldn't talk. Normally, I'm like screaming at the TV when that kind of thing happens. I just couldn't say anything.
That's a screw up.
Thankfully, under Stafford, the Rams now showed some competition. They were able to get back in the game. They took the lead, tie game again, and then they win it on a field goal. It could have been a touchdown, but Sean McVay again taking the ball out of a running back's hands when the running back is hot. He still hasn't learned. It's a little frustrating at this point.
Imagine if you crossed Sean McVay and John Harbaugh. If you had aggressive Sean McVay, but intelligent play caller John Harbaugh, because Harbaugh doesn't call our plays. But
you have a legitimate argument for
spicy.
The best coach in the league if you cross them.
Yeah, that'd be spicy. Because Belichick does some goofy things. He calls defense. So that's spicy. Yeah.
Bottom line, people are saying it was an ugly win. I'm going to say it was a tough win. It was a tough win because the Colts were in it for most of the game. The crowd really got into it towards the end. I thought the crowd showed up big. But Jalen Ramsey coming up with a pick, you always love to see it. I know it was Jacob Eason, but still also sucks to see Carson Wentz get hurt. But
he sprained both ankles. Of course, as of recording, we don't know his status for Sunday's game against the Tennessee Titans. We're about to get on the Titans, but how do you sprain both ankles?
Aaron Donald.
Okay.
He took a hit from Aaron Donald.
Yeah.
Enough said. Obviously, Aaron Donald didn't mean to hurt him, but.
Yeah. 92 PFF grade from Aaron Donald. I haven't checked this. Yes, I haven't cross-checked this, but I did hear that was Quentin Nelson's worst graded game ever. And PFF, for better or for worse, loves Quentin Nelson. Well, who doesn't love Quentin Nelson? But apparently that was his worst ever graded game. Comes against Aaron Donald. This people hyped this up as the best matchup of the year, and Aaron Donald took a big fat W.
I think another reason why though is because they didn't match him up too often as well. The Rams kind of realized Quentin Nelson was holding his own for a little bit. I still think Aaron Donald won the overall matchup between the two, but at the same time, the Rams also realized, hey, we can line him up elsewhere. And
you're not. You're facing someone other than Quentin Nelson.
Yeah, and he made Carson Wentz's day a nightmare. So
yeah. So I mean, hey, it's like when TJ Watt is going to face Ronnie Stanley. What's the point of that? Just put him on the other tackle, right? Or Myles Garrett, same thing. What's the point of having? Even tonight, what's the point of having? I guess Bakhtiari didn't play. Let me think of an example. Trent Williams against Philly before Brandon Graham went out. What's the point of having Brandon Graham line up right across from Trent Williams when you can just move Graham to the other side and have him go against someone that's not Trent Williams? Or what's the point of having? Well, I guess the Packers have too many pass rushers to do this, but what's the point of lining up Zadarius Smith against Penny Sewell when you can just throw him the other side? I don't know how Sewell graded. I was more focused on Jared Goff. But
I think we were all focused on Jared Goff tonight. That's
yes,
is what it is.
Let's stay in the NFC West. Actually, let's stay in NFC West versus AFC South battles. We have another one. Tennessee Titans, 33. Seattle Seahawks, 30.
Oh,
final
boy.
In overtime.
Seattle.
Derrick Henry, 3 tutties, 200 all-purpose yards. Ryan Tannehill, I think he was the highest graded quarterback by PFF, which I don't know if I would have agreed with, but he balled out. Russell Wilson had another 60-yard touchdown to Tyler Lockett. What's new?
Tyler Lockett does not miss those.
No. Tennessee's defense looks suspect. Julio Jones got robbed. What are your initial takeaways from Tennessee over Seattle by 3?
The Seahawks made one critical mistake in this game, and that was they allowed Derrick Henry to get going. And
Yes.
I think all of us know once he gets hot, and it was pretty much like you're letting the Titans back into this game. Julio Jones, by the way, I think that's another thing that we should talk about. Julio Jones getting robbed. He was in.
I think
100%
he was in. I think when, say, Frankie showed the still at the very end, I think he's in. But when you show it, you're not showing his toe hit the ground first, right? I think his toe hit the ground, and then his heel came really close to the line. Heel to the line, take it or leave it. I'm not arguing that, but I'm arguing I think he got his toe down first, and then his heel hit really close.
Yeah.
So to me, that's inbounds, right? It's inbounds. Toe is part of the foot. Your foot is inbounds. Yes, the rest of your foot comes down out of bounds, but there's toe catches for a reason, right?
Exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say too.
Tiptoe this down the sideline. Well, I guess if your foot goes out of bounds, you go out of bounds, but you get the toe in first, right? And then the rest of you goes out. So I thought it was a catch. I thought it was a touchdown. Great play, great throw by Tannehill, and then Julio freaking Jones.
I still think he played fine.
Yeah, Tannehill was awesome. Julio was awesome too.
Yeah, he was.
AJ Brown had a couple weird drops. I think he was focused on getting some yards after the catch.
At the end of the day, it was just the Derrick Henry show, though.
Yeah, Henry was unreal.
Yeah. So that's a tough one to swallow if you're the Seahawks.
Mm-hmm. We got one more game, one more NFC West team, the Arizona Cardinals, Minnesota Vikings. So Cardinals 34, Vikings 33. According to Vikings announcers, the Vikings kicker made the field goal. Greg Joseph made the field goal. Then all of a sudden he missed the field goal. I don't know how you screw that up. Yeah, at least
the perspective from the announcer booth has to be off somehow.
That was just bizarre. He was so adamant that Joseph had made the field goal.
Screaming good, and then no, he missed it.
Yeah, so tragic there. And I'm gonna make this point. I don't know if I'm gonna make this point in any other show. The Cardinals kind of got bailed here.
Yes.
The Cardinals didn't. Okay, cliche time. The Cardinals didn't win this game. The Vikings lost this game.
Yes.
If you have to rely on the other team's kicker missing a 40-yard field goal, 45-yard field goal, you have lost that game. You might get a W in the win column. I get it, but in my eyes, you were outplayed. I think Minnesota outplayed Arizona. I know Kyler was great. I know he had 400 bazillion yards and 4 touchdowns.
As a whole, they didn't get outplayed, but in the end, when it mattered, yeah, they absolutely did get outplayed. I think it was just like a shootout. That game was very fun to watch. Kyler Murray's ridiculous.
It is a classic case of whoever gets the ball last is just going to win the game, and it just happened that Greg Joseph missed the field goal. He makes it other times. He made a 52-yarder in this game. Matt Prater made from 62.
Oh, Matt Prater.
I forgot about that. I didn't remember that, and then I saw a highlight of it on Instagram. I was like, whoa, Matt Prater got a leg.
That was –
There's 3 kickers in the NFL that have made a kick longer than that ever. Or not ever, but in the active NFL. Like Justin Tucker's never hit from 62.
Prater has the record, though, too.
Prater does have the record. He hit from 64. Jake Elliott hit from 63 once. Graham Gano hit from 63. I might be missing someone, but then you have 62. And I think Jason Myers, Seattle's kicker, may have hit from 60, 61. Zerline's hit from 61. But
Myers hit from 61 last year.
That's right. So Tucker hit from 61 not the last time we played Detroit, the time before the last time we played at Ford Field, he hit from 61, 6 for 6 on field goals, Monday Night Football, one of the craziest, stupid games ever. So with that said, anything you want to say before we wrap this up?
I mean, this was a hell of a week. This is, like I said at the beginning, football is back. It really feels like it's back now, and we're being treated to some awesome games. I can't wait for week 3. It's a real shame that the Rams-Bucks game is not going primetime because I think a lot of people would love to see that. It is going to
be 95% of the country, but
yeah.
It's a Fox game, right?
It is America's Game of the Week on Fox.
Guess who doesn't get it?
That guy.
Yeah. I don't have Fox in the dorm. I might have to venture to other TVs and see if they have Fox. I was very bummed. Ironically enough, I did get to watch Arizona week 1. And
that's funny.
Who did I watch yesterday? Oh, it was the Chargers game. Chargers Cowboys. That was a banger of a game.
Oh, oh boy.
Yeah, the Chargers invent new ways to lose, man.
Every week, man. Every time they lose, it just feels like they've done it in a completely different way. Like, blame the refs all you want. I feel like the refs were just bad on both sides in terms of that game.
Yeah, there were some goofy calls. Shout out Micah Parsons. Edge rusher Micah Parsons was one of the best players of the week.
And anyone wondering why I do not like the Chargers, that game is why. I understand the Cowboys have a huge fan base. They're going to have fans pretty much everywhere they go. I get it. But when Justin Herbert threw a pick and the crowd exploded, this is supposed to be a Chargers home game.
That was so funny.
Get used to this. If you watch the Chargers, get used to this.
I wonder, would Dallas outperform the Rams at a Rams home game?
At the Coliseum, it was relatively 50-50 when they had their playoff game. At the Coliseum, it was pretty much a 50-50 crowd. So I don't know.
Okay,
we'll see.
Know. Yeah, I do think part of that is Cowboys. I think there's like Pittsburgh fans travel really well. Dallas fans, of course, travel really well, and there's a ton of Dallas fans everywhere.
Fans,
so they're not even
Eagles
traveling.
Fans.
Where Packers fans are unreal. Teams where they play against the Cardinals, like the Cardinals have pretty solid fans. Like I've lived around them the last 3 years. They have pretty solid fans, but other teams just like flock to Glendale.
Yeah,
I don't understand. So with that said, I'm gonna throw this to In the Future Splash. So Jack, hope you have a great day. Listeners, I hope present Splash, future Splash to me. I hope present Splash doesn't annoy you too much, and I hope present Stefan doesn't annoy you too much. So I'm going to throw it up to you, buddy. Hope you enjoy those thumbnails, Henry. Well, that was quite something. Yeah, how's it going, man?
That's good. It's good. I'm getting my voice back. I'm still trying to differentiate the time zone between Vegas and here, so
okay,
not too bad.
That's absolutely fair. Absolutely fair. So, what a weekend of football, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, Jack and I just touched on a bunch of games. As my camera is, I'm trying to figure out my camera. 16 games per usual. Week 2, it was lit. Stefan, your little staticky.
I know.
Are you getting Thanos snapped, buddy?
I wish.
Imagine if you were got Thanos snapped. No, imagine if in 2000 or the day Brady got hurt in 01, you got Thanos snapped. And you didn't know that the Patriots freaking won 3 of the next 4 Super Bowls and that Brady would be a GOAT contender by the age of 30. Okay. This is a real segment. What 5-year period in sports is the most jarring so that you had to live through it? Like historically, it doesn't make any sense. If you lived before or after, it doesn't make sense. But if you live during it, you understand.
Honestly, it's gonna be 5 year span. I would say.
Yeah, 5 years.
I would say 2016 to 2021 in a way. Because if you told me in the last 5 years, oh no, Brady's still a Patriot, he's an retired Patriot, 20 plus years or whatever. Nah, 44 years old. What? No
ring
fan
5, ring 6, ring 7. They COVID throws a wrench into everything.
28-3 lead, all these things that you experience, you're like, there's no way. And even when you're not even snapped away and you're still going through it, and you're like, no way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, imagine if you were a Cavs fan and you get snapped in the middle of May 2014. Oh, no. Okay. No, you get snapped before LeBron comes back, say May 2014, before they lose before the Heat lose to the Spurs. And then you come back 5 years later and LeBron took you to 4 finals, but you have no recollection of any of it. Or Imagine if you were a Warriors fan, and I don't know how the math works out on all the days, but imagine if you went from like June of 2014, like right after the finals, to June 2019, and you miss all 5 trips to the NBA Finals, and that's 3 rings.
I'd be a depressed Warriors fan at that point. Even if the roster's still not that bad, I'd be very confused. But I'd also be like, what?
Yeah.
But then again, actually, it's like saying this. Imagine if would you choose to either have your sports team win every year, but you forget every year, or never? Would you do that? Would you rather have it where you didn't know they were going to win, but they win every year, or you get one win every 10 years? And you can remember those.
I don't know. I do want to say shout out to Anthony. Pittsburgh fans travel really well.
Oh yeah.
And Dallas fans are everywhere. It's hard to which fans travel the best versus which fans are just everywhere. I think Dallas falls into they're everywhere. Pittsburgh falls into they travel really well. Green Bay travels really well too. They have a large fan base. But I don't. The one title every 10 years, if you knew it was coming, do you know it's coming?
Yeah, you do. So yeah, you know it's every 10 years, or you forget it every year.
Is it like, I don't know, every decade you get exactly one title?
Something like that, yeah. So let's say the Ravens win every 10 years.
So the Ravens win this year, and none of my teams win titles for the next 10 years. I might
record
I would. That would be the worst. Imagine being like a Bills fan, or no. Imagine being like I'm a Swansea City Premier League fan, right? They're not in the Premier League, but imagine like having like one random team that technically wins a championship. Like if they say win the league that they're in, and they get to the Premier League, they technically won a trophy. They technically won the championship that was available to them. That would screw over my Ravens and Cavs and Red Wings and Braves. I don't know. I think I'd rather take my chances with what it is in real life.
I don't want to.
I don't know. I've never had a situation that both of my teams. I don't think I've had a situation that both of my teams won the title in the same year. Let's see. 95 Braves, 97, 98 Red Wings, 2000 Ravens, 02 Red Wings, 08 Red Wings, 12 Ravens, 16 Cavs. Yeah, and then not even UConn overlaps because they were 99, 04, 11, and 14. That's weird. That was a great start to this show. That's amazing. Okay. With that said, what game do you want to touch on first?
That Arizona Cardinals game had me in a heart attack. Oh yes. My! Not only do I have him in Kyler Murray in fantasy, and he literally got a
bet on that game, didn't you?
Me and my friends were in Vegas for the last day, and we're like recovering on a Sunday. We go to a sports bar, and we're like, let's put a parlay in. So we take Cowboys money line, Cardinals money line, Titans money line, and then we
bold. That was ballsy.
Buccaneers at the spread. We're like, okay, it's our last day. We could freely bet because when I come down to Florida, I can't bet how I can in Vegas. And as you know, it went. So we're watching 4 screens. It goes Cowboys field goal, 56-yard field goal, make it. Cardinals are getting driven on. I'm like, this is it. I'm like, this is going to be the one to ruin my entire day. Not even worried about the Titans game yet. And when I heard the announcer scream, they got it! I'm like, my friend's like, no, he missed it. She's like, no, he missed it. I'm like, going crazy.
I cannot believe. I honestly cannot believe that. I said in the show, the little segment with Jack. I do think the Cardinals got bailed, and I know they're 2-0, and I get it. But can we calm down a little bit?
It's ugly. That offensive line. It's ugly.
They were great against Tennessee, though. I will give them all the credit in the world for Tennessee, but 100%. They didn't.
I don't know why. I think they forgot that they were playing football because Kyler Murray looked like a man on the run. This guy couldn't get traction, so I hope that it's not like
that was strange. The Titans. They came to play. Derrick Henry woke up feeling dangerous, like, for lack of a better term. He had over 200 all-purpose yards. And the thing with Henry is that he usually is like, the 30 carries and maybe one catch. 6 targets, 6 catches, 2 contested catches for Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry had like 75 receiving yards.
I told someone, I was like, I bet someone $25. I'm like, I promise you Derrick Henry will have 30 receptions this year. He's well on his way for that now.
Yeah. Ooh, he had 6 in a game. I don't know how many he had last week, but 6 in a game is a solid start. So big shout out to the Titans. And I will say, I don't know if it's a hot take. I thought Seattle looked to be the best NFC West team, even though they lost, which is strange. San Francisco has been sleepwalking since they went up by like 30 against the Lions, which I get. It's the Lions and the Eagles, but take care of business. Like, Carolina took care of business. Carolina smelled blood in the water against the Saints and took care of business. They whacked the Saints. Like, it's really hard. It's hard to whack a well-coached team. Carolina whacked New Orleans. I didn't think Arizona, they offensively were really good. Defensively, they were a train wreck. Kyler, man, I know I get killed for this on the app, but the thing with Kyler is I have never doubted the talent. That one game against Alabama in the college football playoff, that said to me, he is a once in a lifetime athlete. He has talent that is off the charts. I need to see it every week, but he is one of the most talented football players to ever live. The issue is he doesn't put it together for full games. He was really good against Tennessee. He had one awful throw and interception. He was really good against Minnesota. A couple spotty throw. I think he had one turnover-worthy play. It was a pick 6. You just can't make those.
Yeah,
and
it's hard.
Yeah, I get all the, you want to give him the benefit of the doubt. He's being coached by Cliff Kingsbury. He does have DeAndre Hopkins. He doesn't have an unreal offensive line. I get it. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt too. I really love watching him play, but you gotta clean up that mistake every week. If you can turn that mistake every week into a mistake every other week, or mistake every 3 weeks, or mistake every 4 weeks, that's when you ascend that level of Kyler Murray might be the best quarterback in the NFL. So I do want to say, Tixa, yes, because Swansea is buns. Anthony, someone said start Patrick Mahomes over Tom Brady, and that was a big mistake in fantasy football. I thought that was a little goofy because Mahomes did have 340 yards. He didn't play like he had 340 yards and 3 touchdowns, but he ended up with 340 yards and 3 touchdowns.
What was the score to that fantasy matchup you had? I'm just curious. Because maybe Mahomes put up enough but didn't put up, Brady had that little extra ump. Mahomes over Brady isn't the craziest argument.
He did have 5 touchdowns. He lost a fumble too.
It was a Falcon, so I'll tell you one thing if I ever learned in my life is always take Tom Brady.
Why do you have both Mahomes and Brady? That's my question.
So the 2 quarterback. I wish it was a 2 quarterback league, then you'd win the whole thing.
Yeah. Russell Wilson and Kyler Murray are my top 2 for MVP race. You're forgetting a certain 44-year-old. Tom Brady has been magnificent. The kind of throws he makes, I know he's not Mahomes, he's not Kyler, he's not Herbert, he's not Allen, he's not Rodgers. But who cares? He is so clinical. He is so accurate with the football that he is playing at such a high level right now that I think caveat, it's 2 weeks. It is 2 weeks. Good job, Tixa. It's been 2 weeks, so take everything I'm about to say with a grain of salt. We might be watching freaking prime Thomas Edward Brady right now. He is 44, and he is throwing the football better than he has ever had in his career. And Stefan, you had a stat. It was like he's 13 touchdowns away from having more touchdowns in his 40s than his 20s.
His 20s, yep.
Oh, brother. I think Brady might be a robot. And And people will be quick to say, well, he doesn't have the mobility. Brady, it genuinely doesn't matter. He has such an innate pocket sense that his fine tune. That's an interesting strategy.
I would try to trade one of them if anything. Mahomes gets some.
Yeah,
value.
that's a good idea. That's a good idea. Try to buy low on some
something.
Yeah. But think of Mahomes, Allen, Lamar, Kyler, Russ, even Rodgers. They are very much course. This is like think of it like a camera lens, right? So you have like a wide one that like zooms in a lot, zooms out a lot, zooms in a lot, and then Brady is just going to be like Brady, those little fine pocket movements. That's the difference between 8 big time throws, 0 turnover worthy plays, and 4 big time throws and 3 turnover worthy plays. He is just always in the right spot. And I know you don't see that. You have to watch for that. And it's so difficult to watch for on a live broadcast. You got to go back, dissect it. And it's just, he takes this little half step to the left, half step to the right. It seems good offensive line, yes, but he seems like he's never under. Even if he's under pressure, he's never under pressure. It's that like looping thing of he is so calm, and it's not even like a Daniel Jones who just doesn't sense pressure. He's just so poised and so calm, and he knows, okay, this guy's coming at 13.2 miles per hour. If I take a half step to the left, I'm going to avoid him and be able to drop it in the bucket 37 yards down the field. Brady does that instantaneously.
It's that pocket presence. It's that awareness. It's like a Matty. It's 99 awareness. It's pocket presence. And to be 44, this stat, it's funny because this stat made sense a few years ago. You can now, if Brady doesn't play until he's 50 or even 45, you can chop this man's career into however you want it. Three careers, 2 careers. But to be this good at this age with this team and like to keep up with all these Josh Allens, Mahomes, Rodgers, he's a doctor with the perfect like brain and the perfect hands because this guy just makes every throw. And it's just nice to see because you see it at 44 and you see guys at like 22, 23 struggling. And you're just like, the difference is just, it's insane.
Yeah. And I do want to address this. Brady was awesome last year. Rodgers was just a cut above. Like, I know what happened in the playoffs, but Aaron Rodgers had a ridiculous season, and Aaron Rodgers was back yesterday. And I don't know if you watched the Peyton and Eli broadcast.
All I watch now. I don't even touch regular ESPN when I see Monday Night Football.
Oh man, yeah, that was so cool. That because that Peyton and Eli and even Favre probably they just love watching good quarterback play, and Aaron Rodgers does as well as anyone. I know Mahomes might make some more flashy plays. I know Russell Wilson has a weekly 6-yard touchdown. But oh man, is Aaron Rodgers fun to watch? He had one that Peyton said like he zipped it by that's a objectively bad decision, but Aaron Rodgers has such a great arm that he just whips it like singes ear hairs off the linebacker, and it's a perfect throw to Tunyon.
Yeah,
that was unbelievable. And they need one that he like dropped it like 45 yards down. That
was my favorite. Favorite pass game was that one. The Tunyon one was threading the needle, and that's what Aaron Rodgers does. He throws with that authority, but he makes those throws, like you said, Mahomes, Rodgers, Brady, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray, all good quarterbacks, but they all have their own play style that makes them win. And Rodgers is the gunslinger with that hair flowing in the wind.
Yeah, I love the hair. Just the image of Aaron Rodgers, oh man, it is great. So big win by the Packers last night. They saved me in fantasy. They broke that one guy's heart. $25 to 700,000.
I want to say thank you to DeAndre Swift.
Big shout out DeAndre Swift. He won me a fantasy matchup.
He won me 2 of them by 2 points on each one of them. Thanks to garbage time and Jared Goff heading out. I was freaking out at the TV when he threw that last pick. I'm like, it's over. He's like just saying every name in the book, and the next thing you know, I see DeAndre Swift dink. I'm like, oh my god, I got a chance to dink.
Okay, I got a story. So I'm in a league with I don't remember if it's a paid league, but it's with some AFC North group chat guys. I have both Swift and the Packers defense. So Goff throws the interception, and I'm down like half a point. I should be up a point, but they didn't rule the Ragnow Goff botch snap as a bot. They didn't rule it as a fumble. I don't know. So, anyways, I'm down by like half a point. I'm like, okay, I need Swift. Goff hits Swift. He gets the first down, and then they hit on another play, and I look, and the Packers have allowed enough yardage to lose me points. So it just negated that catch, and I'm like losing my mind, and I'm like down like a fraction of a point, and then Goff hits Swift the next 2 plays, and then nearly throws a pick on the last play.
Jared Goff, I'm not the biggest hater on you, but man, that one pass where he throws it and it just flies out of his hand, botch snap, that last pick, it was like Joe Burrow on Sunday. Like I took Joe Burrow in a big like parlay as well, like trying to get some money.
Yeah.
He throws 3 interceptions, and I'm like, you could not
3
cover
plays
3.5 against the Chicago Bears team. You're just handing them the game at this point.
Oh my goodness, man! I want to see what that. I'm going to go back and do like a graph of his passer rating and just watch it.
Yeah, it's a roller coaster. Just drop.
Yeah, just all the way down. Just that was rough. But you wanted to touch on some rookies. I think this is a pretty natural segue because a couple rookies have been throwing a lot of picks lately, namely numero uno Trevor Lawrence and numero dos Zach Wilson.
4 interception day. You know what, though? I'm not gonna rag on Zach Wilson because everyone knows when a rookie goes into New England. I don't care if it's whoever it is that quarterback. Bill Belichick has his way with that.
21-6. Ooh, do you know the 6 quarterbacks that have beaten Bill Belichick as a rookie?
I know. Was it Cam Newton?
No. Sadly, Cam is. I think he's undefeated against New England, oddly enough, but not as a rookie.
Okay, let me one more chance, and then you can just go ahead and ruin it. Okay. Russell Wilson.
Yes, that's one. Russ in 2012.
Patrick Mahomes. Oh no, because he didn't start.
Yeah, Alex Smith dropped his nuts on them though. That was such a fun. That was the dumbest game ever. But that was so much fun watching Alex Smith and Kareem Hunt just.
that was Kareem Hunt rookie year, though, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
So, Russell Wilson.
Yep.
God, right.
This is a fun list of names.
Deshaun,
no.
I blew it.
All right, are you ready?
I'm gonna be so mad when you say these names.
Russell Wilson, future NFL Hall of Famer Ben Roethlisberger, the butt fumble himself, Mark Sanchez, my man 158.30 Smith, Geno Smith, Colt McCoy on the Browns in 2010. That is the all-time stupid game. So Ben, Russ, and Ben, Russ, Geno, Sanchez, Colt McCoy, and a certain Miami Dolphins Tua Tagovailoa. And that's the first time I've ever said Tagovailoa, and I don't like it. Why can't you just say Tagovailoa? Hope he recovers. I don't like him being injured.
That is the ugliest list outside of Big Ben and Russell Wilson I have ever. And you told me that they lose to those guys in 5 years. Like if I was snapping for 5 years, you'd say, "Oh yeah, Brady lost to Colt McCoy when?" And the Browns. What? The Browns?
As a rookie.
That's a rookie.
Yeah, it was in Cleveland, dude. That was such an ugly game. Mark Sanchez beat Tom Brady in a playoff game in Foxborough. Joe Flacco did it twice.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan Tannehill is the other name on that list.
Ryan Tannehill, see, and when I'm not scared of the Tua Miami Dolphins as much as I was scared of the Ryan Tannehill Miami Dolphins against New England.
Interesting.
He made it work in like the scariest of ways. Like I'm like, okay, Brady in Miami against Ryan Tannehill and those boys. It just seemed like there was more for Ryan Tannehill than it was a Tua. I do like Tua. I hope he does get back fast.
Yeah. I hope Tua gets healthy. That just sucks to see. You know, I know he's had his struggles, but every rookie, every young quarterback struggles to some degree. You know, and I do want to touch on this before we get into the rookies. Just because they struggle now doesn't mean they will struggle forever. And just because they succeed later doesn't mean they aren't complete trash right now. So please, folks out there, if Zach Wilson comes alive weeks 3 through 18, that doesn't mean he was good yesterday or Sunday. If Trevor Lawrence starts dropping dimes every play, that doesn't mean he was good against Houston and Denver. He sucked. So did Zach, and we'll get into the other rookies. So if you were redrafting the 6 now, because Davis Mills is now the starter of the Texans.
And we talked about that too. We said
future All-Pro Davis Mills. I'm so happy, even though he was awful. I don't want to say awful. He looked overmatched against Cleveland, and that's not a. I love the personnel on Cleveland's defense. Joe Woods, Al Woods, just defensive coordinator Woods is not the answer. I don't know what they're doing, what kind of crack they're on in Cleveland. But, yeah. Justin Herbert was amazing as a rookie. Got curb stomped by Bill Belichick. So if you had to redraft the 6, just right now, we're not talking future, just right now, based on the 2 games you've seen, who would you draft first?
Can you put me on a team if I'll say a certain team? Because I feel like with certain these players, certain teams would fit it.
Okay, that's a good point. I don't know. What's the most average team in the NFL? So, let's go Saints. Okay. Let's go Saints. So you get a good running back, you get a good offensive line, you get a good defense. Your wide receivers aren't all that special, but you can make it work. New Orleans Saints are on the clock. Who do they take?
Honestly, I'm looking at Mac Jones.
I agree.
I've been preaching him, since
yes, you have.
Preseason. He's not throwing touchdowns. He's not throwing 50 touchdowns this season. He might not even throw 20 touchdowns this season. Yeah. But he's everything he wants, or Bill Belichick wants. He's nice. He's poised. The receiving core great better. The tight ends, but to me, he seems like the more ready, the more pocket-friendly quarterback so far. Mm-hmm. So Mac Jones will be the first one.
I think the thing with Jones is I did kind of get looped in, and I said Sunday morning before the game started that I think Tom Brady, 2007 Tom Brady, 2006-07 Tom Brady, and Mac Jones were like swapped at birth because and then one gets Randy Moss and the other gets Jacoby Myers. Yeah. So, you have the caveat that the Patriots don't have the greatest of weapons. So I don't think they're not gonna ask Mac to like push the ball down the field. I think he's maybe under 10% of his throws are deep. There some teams are wild, and like Brady's at 26%. Carr was over 30%. Wow. Carr is just
Carr's he's like righting all the wrongs.
He's having a fun year. I will say I would take Mac first. Beyond that, it's hard because Lance hasn't played much. Fields didn't look all that good against a bad Cincinnati. A below average Cincinnati defense. Wilson and Lawrence have just been throwing a ton of picks. Not all of them are necessarily their fault. Wilson had 2 that went right through the receiver's hands. I think he had one against the Panthers that was he had another dumb interception. But Davis Mills is Davis Mills. So I think Mac is clearly 1 for what that's worth. I might roll Fields 2 because I at least with Fields and Lance, you get a rushing floor. You get like a mobility element I don't think you get with Zach and Lawrence. And right now, I think Wilson's playing a tiny bit better than Lawrence. But Lawrence didn't have to play freaking Bill Belichick. So I would say Mac 1, Fields 2.
I agree with that.
I don't think we've gotten enough of a sample size out of Lance for me to put him over Lawrence and Wilson.
Yeah, he's still a third backup, so I'd put him at 5.
I put him at 5. I do wish Davis Mills nothing but the best. I am going to bet big on Carolina for what that's worth. Minus 7.5, ladies and gents. That's a lot of points on the road on a short week.
I think they can cover. I've been high on the Panthers the last 2 years now. 2 weeks, sorry. I took him last week, money line in a separate bet, and I was so happy to see Jameis Winston revert back to Jameis Winston.
Oh man, he sucks against Carolina.
He's like the water boy. We suck again. You know?
Yeah. So, what are you selling on the Saints? I mentioned them in the title as like losers. Are you selling your stock? Do you still have some in reserves? What's happening?
I think it's going to be like what they're doing so far this year is they're going to have games where they look good, then they're going to have games where they just suck. Okay. I don't see that team because the receivers aren't the craziest receiving core. So you have like elite cornerbacks, like say you're like the Ravens, you're the Bills, you're the Bucks. Teams that have like corners that can lock you down. Who are they going to give it to? Kamara got shut down the other day.
Yeah, Kamara had 30 yards rushing?
Yeah, so like, what are you going to do? You don't have a tight end. Juwan Johnson, you have Trotman, but what are you going to do outside?
I haven't seen it out of Trotman this year.
Yeah, like, you can't tell me someone on that offense that's sexy enough to like, oh, this is the guy.
Yeah, it's weird because you want to say Kamara is that guy, and he usually is. Oh, imagine if okay. So Winston is on pace. So he's on pace for 2.5 touchdowns a game, 1 interception a game. So let me do some quick math. That's 32 and a half touchdowns, 17 interceptions. If I'm a Saints fan, I'm happy with that. Like I'm very happy with 32 touchdowns, 17 picks for Jameis.
I think that's possible, and of course he's going to have more yards a game. But I
think the yards are really. I got into an argument with this with Frankie about this and said passing yards are really a game script thing. That's not he had a rushing touchdown in this game. But what if he just throws a touchdown there and he adds 7 to his tally and he gets an extra if he has a passing touchdown? I think. Ironically enough, Lamar is the one that people attack with the passing yards, and he's had 230 the last 2 games, so he's been pretty productive as a passer. I don't know. The passing yards argument always strikes me the wrong way because you can kind of be too good, and if you're too efficient as a passer or your offense is too good, you're not going to accumulate many passing yards. And at the same time, accumulating a lot of passing yards doesn't mean you're good. Like right. You could. Like Jimmy Garoppolo had like 300-something yards against Detroit. How much of that was Debo after the catch? A lot. You know, how much now Russell Wilson actually makes 50-yard throws, but how much of Russell Wilson's production or Matthew Stafford's production is based on, you know, the Bears falling asleep at the wheel or the Colts falling asleep at the wheel? I don't know. So quarterbacks are weird.
It's just, you know what, though, like, because I'm looking at these stats. Mac Jones had, 100 and something passing yards the other day, too. And as long as they're getting it done, like Lamar, I don't care if Lamar had 1 passing yard. The guy still willed his team and beat the Chiefs with his own legs. And what we saw this week compared to, like, the Raiders last week, this is the Lamar Jackson that we thought was going to happen with Gus Edwards out, J.K. Dobbins out. This is what we think. It's not the safest play as long as he's safe for what he's doing. He's a smart runner. He's not going to take the stupid hits that other players are going to take. So that's why I'm confident that he'll do good. And he's going to have 100 yards a game rushing. I mean, shoot.
Okay, let me tell you something. I put $1 after Gus tore his ACL. I put $1 on Lamar Jackson to lead the NFL in rushing. In a world with Derrick Henry, I don't know if it happens, but he does have like 200 yards in 2 games. He might be second. He honestly, has anyone? How many does Mixon have? Because Mixon's been going bonkers.
I think Mixon's like 3rd. He's like 2-something. Derrick Henry after contact is actually second in the league.
Yep. As it happens, see, Henry is. I got into an argument on the app today. I get that Henry might not be the most like physically. Or no, Henry is the most physically dominant running back since. I don't like scouting the helmet, but he is Earl Campbell reincarnated.
I was getting ready to say Earl Campbell.
Yep. So he is Earl Campbell reincarnate, and the thing with Campbell, he was uber productive in an era that was super physical. Derrick Henry is like. Darius Leonard is. People say he's a star linebacker. I don't disagree with that. He's really good, but Darius Leonard's like 220. Derrick Henry could like chop off a leg and weigh more than Darius Leonard. Darius Leonard is not stopping Derrick Henry. Most linebackers in the NFL are not stopping Derrick Henry. So that means you're saying, okay, the defensive line has to stop Henry. Well, guess what? Henry starts running sideways and he gets up to that tractorcito speed that he runs. Oh my, it is devastating. Fact check. Lamar Jackson is third in the NFL in rushing, 193 yards. He's averaging a nice 6.9 yards per attempt.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, big shout out Nick Chubb. He's averaging 6.8 yards per attempt as a running back. Jalen Hurts, 8.5 yards attempt. Tyson Williams is 13th in the NFL in rushing. That makes me happy.
The Ravens, I watched that game. I saw Devontae Freeman do a little nice 29 yards. I'm like, who is this guy? Like, what?
Then he had -2 his next carry.
And then Latavius Murray is scoring touchdowns here and there. Tyson Williams is doing what it's like. Harbaugh is just being what he said he was going to be. He's like, I don't have a main running back. We're just going to run the ball. You're damn right they're going to run the ball.
Let me just put this into perspective. Also, shout out to the Houston Texans. They are second in rushing attempts. They're averaging 3.5 yards per carry. But they're second in rushing attempts. Do you know the only team under 3 yards a carry right now? The Packers are exactly 3. Well, not exactly 3, but around to 3.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The Packers haven't had a 10-yard run.
So what happened? Wait, so everything Aaron Jones has done has been under 10 yards?
Yeah, he had 3 receiving touchdowns. Shout out Aaron Jones. He won some fantasy leagues yesterday. The team that is last in rushing, the Las Vegas Raiders, are averaging 2.9 yards per attempt.
I can see that.
That is – every team's over 100 yards. So that's good. Every team's at least averaging 50. The Steelers are last with 114. Lamar might end up top 10 in rushing. I think it does happen. Especially you saw – I think there was a flip. There was a switch that was flipped against the Chiefs that the Ravens said, okay, we got Lamar Jackson. He is perhaps the most dynamic player the NFL has ever seen. We're just going to spam the Lamar button. We are going to, and he was sensational for 3 quarters. Now, yes, he had a terrible throw into triple coverage. I didn't think I said terrible enough. Yes, that was a terrible throw. I get it. He missed a throw. Marquis Brown, as of right now, would be on the PFF All-Pro team.
He is having a year. I think all that smack talk he heard going into this year caught up.
Happy. I'm so happy. I've been one of the loudest critics of Marquis Brown. I put in my phone that if I spelled out Hollywood, it would automatically go to Marquis because I didn't think he deserved the nickname. But Hollywood Brown is, I've said it before, he is the weirdest, dumbest, stupidest, quirkiest athlete in the NFL. He is historically one of the best playoff performers ever. The guys he is in his first 3 playoff games, the guys he is compared to are Randy Moss, Rob Gronkowski, T.Y. Hilton, Devontae Adams. That group. That Chris Collinsworth too. Shout out.
Chris Collinsworth.
Yeah, that's a blast from the past. And then in the division games, he always scores. He scores against Pittsburgh. May not have more than 3 yards, but he scores against Pittsburgh. Has 100 yards against Cleveland. Has the walk-off touchdown against Cleveland. Kills Cincinnati. Then he owns week 1. I am just so happy, and I am eating all the crow for both Marquis Brown and does he break 1,000? He is at, I believe, 200, almost 200 already. He's like 180 something.
There's no way he does it, though, right? Like at this, and then anyway, at his pace, even if he goes like games of say games.
Yeah, he's at 182. He's tied for 10th with Rondale Moore. Shout out Rondale Moore. Rondale Moore had a very solid game. I love me some Rondale.
I think that's the kind of, and he's fast. He's fast. So Kyler Murray is going to have a field day.
Yeah, he might. Okay, it's hard to say he's a more dangerous weapon than DeAndre Hopkins, but I think Cliff Kingsbury knows what he has with Rondale Moore, and I think he's going to experiment more with that. I don't think Cliff Kingsbury realizes just how good DeAndre Hopkins is. I think he realizes exactly how good Rondale Moore is, and he's going to use every ounce of that. And I am so excited to see Rondale Moore. I started grabbing him in some of my fantasy leagues, like keeper leagues, dynasty leagues. That's paying off dividends right now. Not even 2 years down the line, 3 years down the line when he eventually. Oh, right now he has a role in that offense. So I'm super happy for. I'm honestly happy for lots of rookies. And I do want to shout out Odafe Owe. Again, I was a big critic of that. You can go back to the draft show, and I was over the moon with Rashad Bateman. I did not want to draft Odafe Owe. And then he had, I believe, 4 pressures. He led the team in pressures against Vegas. And then Sunday, he had, I think, 3 pressures, a forced fumble, and he had the pressure that that led to the Mahomes interception, and he forced a fumble that won the game, and recovered the darn fumble too. So that I might be getting a 99 Owe jersey soon. I need Bateman. You could play next week because I really want to see you. And Anthony, shout out Anthony for all the questions in the chat. Much love. Who do you think is harder to tackle, Lamar or Henry?
I love Lamar, but Henry. I mean, you can if you put 2 in say QB spy Lamar, you can eventually get 2 guys that banana peel around and try to do that. But I see Derrick Henry toss men that have families to feed, that have kids to feed, that have a life to live, and he's just throwing them around like they're rag dolls.
Oh my, yeah.
Okay. Jamal Adams up that last touchdown that he had, that 60-yarder. I'm like, he's tackled, and he just puts that extra burst of speed. Gone.
He is devastating. He is. People say runaway freight train with any long run. Derrick Henry is a runaway freight train, and he and Nick Chubb. How can you be that large and move that fast?
It's scary. It's so scary.
So my argument here is, okay, for the sake of this, I'm going to say an NFL defense. I think it's easier to stop Henry in the backfield than it is to stop Lamar in the backfield. Because Lamar, the thing Lamar does is he turns -3 into 0. Henry doesn't do that. Henry turns 2 into 62, probably even better than Lamar does. And Lamar is incredibly explosive. So it depends on the situation. If I'm saying a 4th and 1 game on the line, I would rather try to stop Derrick Henry, which is completely counterintuitive. But I beg you to watch how Derrick Henry runs, because he's not really a bruiser. He's more of a get up to top speed and then just blow everyone away. He has that physicality element, of course. He stiff arms but when's the last time you saw Derrick Henry truck someone? That, I think that's an honest question. When's the last time you saw Derrick Henry truck someone? Lamar trucked someone the other night.
That's fair.
Yeah, so Henry is incredibly physical. I'm not saying he's not, but it's sort of counterintuitive because he has to take a step, and then kaboom, right? That's what makes him so devastating after contact, because you're not breaking off 80-yard runs by trucking people. You're breaking off 80-yard runs by getting through a couple arm tackles and then just skedaddling down the field.
Exactly. I mean,
but I have all sorts of sympathy for NFL defenses that have to try to stop either of them. So I think it would be harder to tackle Lamar.
If we're doing open field, I'm not touching Derrick Henry because I'm going to get thrown. But Lamar in the backfield, I'm going to get my ankles broken. Either I get tossed or my ankles are snapped. I'm in the hospital. It's either or. It's not a good look.
Mm-hmm. And you're going to get memed either way. Yeah, with Henry's just a physics, physical science. You got no shot. At least Lamar, he's only 6'1", 210, 215. Derrick Henry is 250, running as fast as Lamar, and he is so good at getting the angle like that on the Jamal Adams play. He just decided, nope. What are angles? What are angles? Physics broken. I wish I had Derrick Henry to help me in high school physics.
He definitely is a better. I think he got better every year he's played. Like, it's just statistically crazy, and everyone's like, "Oh, decrease this year." But this man looks like he's just picking up where he left off.
He might get. I think he goes for 2,000 again.
I can see that easily.
Yeah. So, anything else you want to touch on? Do you want to get hot takes real quick?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, outside of the under in all the games of the first half and then the over in all the second half games.
Yeah, that would have been fun. And we will have to figure out your microphone because you sound like you're underwater.
Is it better now?
No.
Oh, what?
Are you try like screwing it in? Or how is your microphone attached to
USB?
Okay. Maybe reattach it?
Let's try 1 second.
Okay. So while Stefan attends to his technical difficulties, I'm going to take a look at some of our hot takes. And they actually get up the graphic. Doop, 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 boom. Hot takes. And that's not even our only graphic. Because guess what, folks? I am prepared for once. I have the hot take-o-meter right here, ready to go. It is coming up on your screen. Why didn't it come up? All right, I have your hot take-o-meter coming up right about now. Spiciness.
Is that better?
I'm gonna try. You're still underwater there, buddy.
It's a brand new. Let me see this.
Okay. Anyways, let's run through these hot takes, and then we can figure out the. We only have a couple to. Actually, we have a solid amount today. All right. Number one. This is from friend of the show, Nick L. Cardinals don't lose until week 9. Let me pull up their schedule.
Pepper X.
They played the Jags this week, so that's a dub for Arizona. 2011 I can't spell today. Cardinals. All right, we got at Jacksonville. They're going to win that game. At Rams, they're going to lose that game. Niners at Browns, Texans, Packers at Niners. I think they'll be like 5-4, 6-3.
Yeah. Yeah. They're not going to beat the Rams, I think. What, Aaron Donald, where he's at? Nah.
Yeah, that's scary. All right. Then FTV famous water is wet. Cardinals lose before week 9. Milk take. All right. We got Chris _Caps. Daniel Jones finishes as a top 10 fantasy quarterback.
There's no reality I see him finishing as a top 10 quarterback.
Okay, your voice is like full like mid-2000s auto-tune right now.
Am I better now?
No.
What's going on?
I don't know what you can do to fix it.
Can you hear me now?
There's like, no, you're still like underwater. I think what I can do, I can finish up the show, and then we can figure it out. So I bid you adieu, sir. I hope your microphone gets fixed. All right. With that said, folks, let's knock these out. Daniel Jones finishes as a top 10 fantasy quarterback. I don't see the fantasy production in New York. I like some of the pieces there, but when Darius Slayton has literally no hands, he's not converting on the long touchdowns. He does bring some rushing value, so there is that. He could be a viable starter depending on what week it is, but consistency, I don't see it. Bam Bam Cardinals lose on week 9. They play the I don't know who they play. They play San Francisco. Yeah, I think they would lose that game. Fiend says Cardinals either lose before, after, or on week 9. Agree. Tixa says Matt Corral wins the Heisman. Corral's been awesome. He is, I believe, the Heisman frontrunner even over Bryce Young, which is crazy because Alabama quarterback who's playing really well. So big props to Ole Miss and Corral for balling out. Firas says Brady goes 20-0. That's a tough ask. That is a tough ask. I'm going to say no because if they're 16-0 heading into week 18, I don't think Brady plays week 18. So I don't think the Bucs could. I don't think Brady will. AV22 says Panthers start 8-1. Let me pull up their schedule real quick. Because to me, it really matters when they play the Bucs, right? So they've rolled through the Jets and they've rolled through New Orleans. One of the most impressive wins. At Houston, that should be a W. At Dallas, that's a tough one. At Dallas, Carolina's playing really well right now. I trust Dak more than Darnold. I want to see another game out of Darnold. He has been playing well, but this is also a defense that is playing extraordinarily well. They've allowed 21 points. They are currently the number 1 scoring defense and number 1 total defense. They've allowed 22 first downs in 2 games. So it remains to be seen with the Cowboys. Eagles, I think Carolina is a better team. Minnesota is really unlucky to be 0-2. They are probably closer to being a 1-0-1 football team or even a 2-0 football team. Like if you told me before overtime and before that last drive that they would be 0-2, like they're going to lose both of these games, I'd be just shocked. And they lost back-to-back 50-50 games, and even then, kickers are so accurate nowadays that Joseph should make that field goal. And I hate to say it like that, but that's a field goal you expect to make. That's a field goal that Minnesota, you can't put your head down there. That you can't feel bad because you really won that game. You really played well enough to win that game. Just one of your players didn't execute. At Giants have been weird. I'd go Carolina. At Atlanta has been a train wreck. Then New England. So this schedule really opens up. So you have Dallas, Minnesota, New England. Those are the tough games. The Carolina Panthers could seriously be 6-3 going into at Arizona. That's a scary proposition. And then they have Arizona. I think they lose that game. So even like pessimistic me say lose at Dallas, lose to Minnesota, lose to New England, lose to Arizona. You're sitting at 6-4. And that's an awesome start. You play Washington. Who knows who's going to be the quarterback there? Miami, same thing. There's a serious chance the Carolina Panthers go into the bye week at 8-4. Then they beat the Falcons 9-4. So I did think Carolina was a fundamentally bad team. I didn't realize how favorable their schedule was, and they did take care of business when it mattered. So big props to them for knocking off the Saints last week. And with that said, that's our last hot take of the day. So I'm going to take down the old graphic, and we're going to take down this little thing over on the other side. Cool. All right, folks. With that said, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like the stream, subscribe to the channel, follow us on Twitter and on Instagram at UStadium. We want that next milestone of followers. Make sure you continue to stay up to date on all of our shows. We have more content dropping. I'm really excited to announce this. Last night I was up until about 6 a.m. my time, so 9 a.m. your time, more than likely. And I'm chilling. Just kidding. I'm not chilling. I'm working on this huge graphics package, getting all these teams and quarterbacks and power. Exciting stuff. It's almost done. And I'll have those videos posted tomorrow. And then every week from this point on, they'll go up Tuesday. So it'll be 12 o'clock Eastern, 2 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Eastern. Then you got this show at 6, and then you got the Option Boys at 8. Make sure you guys watch the Option. I love what they do. They are so passionate about it, and it's so much fun to watch. So with that said, appreciate it, guys. Power rate is good. Go Ravens. We beat the Chiefs. And remember, Aaron Donald trains with knives.